Sure, you can install Plex in a Docker on Unraid fairly easily, and getting it to use a GPU for hardware-accelerated transcoding isn't anything new either. But using a Docker with an Nvidia graphics card without doing some modifications can lead to only being able to use hardware acceleration for encoding, which means the CPU will still be responsible for the decoding and you won't be using your GPU to its fullest potential. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how to use your Nvidia GPU for hardware acceleration in Unraid and how to make sure it's not only doing half the work it's supposed to be doing by enabling NVDEC. Whether you're protecting yourself on public Wi-Fi, bypassing regional filters, or just simply wanting to download something without the worries of a government or a corporation not liking you for it, a VPN service is a must-have solution. And depending on where you're located, it could be hard to find a VPN fast enough for daily use. That's why the 30-day 100% money-back guarantee of NordVPN is so valuable, because even though I can tell you I get great speeds and reliability, as they say, the proof is in the pudding. By visiting nordvpn.com/byte or clicking the link in the video description below, you can test these speeds out for yourself with a heavy discount. And with 30 days to prove its worth, it's a safe way to ensure you're getting what you paid for. So let's jump right into installing Plex on your Unraid server. And while you can't get this to work with any of the available repositories in today's video, I'm going to be using the Linux server repo for Plex because it makes things just a little easier for GPU usage. Now, before doing anything, make sure that you have the Community Applications plugin installed to Unraid. Then if you want to see what I'm referring to, go to the Apps tab and search for Plex. If you scroll down until you see the Linux server repo, click on it and click Install, you will see some of the additional information provided by this repo that is going to help us with the GPU transcoding. But don't install it or do anything yet. First, we need to go back to the Apps tab and do a search for Nvidia. You should see an option for Unraid Nvidia. This is what we need to enable Nvidia GPU pass-through into a Docker, or specifically for us, a Plex Docker. So once you find it, install it. After that's done, go to your Plugins tab and click on the new Unraid Nvidia plugin. This will lead you to a screen that will ask you what version driver you want to install. Just find the version that matches your Unraid version next to the Nvidia Unraid builds and install it. This will take a little bit to complete, so just let it do its thing. After it's done though, you will need to reboot your server. After the reboot, go back into your Plugins tab, click on Unraid Nvidia again, and after it loads, you should see some new hardware information listed on the left hand of the screen. Highlight and copy the long string of text to the right of GPU UUID, and if you have multiple cards, make sure to pick the correct one. Now we're going to go to the Apps tab again, search for Plex, find the Linux server repo as I demonstrated here, install and paste the string of text into the box to the right of NVIDIA visible devices. A little side note here, when I copied the text, it added a space to the end of the string, which caused an error, which I didn't actually catch until I tried to install it and got that error. Okay, now scroll up and look for extra parameters, and in the box to the right of it, type in -- runtime equals NVIDIA. Exactly as you see it on the screen. Make sure you have the 2 dashes, no caps, and no spaces. At this point, I got that error that I talked about before, and I had to go back, remove the space at the end of the GPU UUID. But after that was done, Plex was able to install correctly without errors. And really, even though I do have more steps to cover, from here your GPU hardware encoding should already work. But to move forward, go back and edit the Plex Docker settings. Scroll to the bottom and click on Add Another Path. In this pop-up, change the config type from path to variable. Then to the box to the right of key, type in all caps, NVIDIA_driver_capabilities. Exactly how you see it on this screen. Then click on Add at the bottom, scroll up the screen and look for a new container variable to make sure it looks exactly like it does here. In the box for the value, type in all in lowercase. From here, do a double check and make sure the rest of your Plex variables are set up correctly, like adding the movies or TV storage locations. Maybe you want to customize where the app data is going to be stored. Once you're sure everything is done, scroll to the bottom and click on Apply. To test everything out, open up Plex and play a file while transcoding it. From your dashboard, you should see that it is hardware encoding the media file. It will not show the HW next to the decode, but that's okay. If you made it this far, you're doing good. If you want, you can SSH into your server and you can see the GPU usage to verify that it is encoding, but this is not a needed step. So now go to the Docker tab in Unraid, click on the Plex Docker icon, and from the dropdown, click on Terminal. In the pop-up terminal, type in cd/usr/lib/plexmediaserver, no caps, no spaces, and hit Enter. After that, type in ls and hit Enter. You should now see the contents of this folder, and you should also see a file called Plex Transcoder. Now we're going to rename this file by typing in the following: M as in Mary, V as in Victor, space, quotations, capital P, L-E-X, space, capital T-R-A-N-S-C-O-D-E-R, quotations. Then space, another quotations, and then Plex Transcoder again with capital P and T, except this time we're going to put a number 2 at the end and close the quotations again. Once you're done, hit the Enter key. Again, make sure everything matches up exactly how it is on the screen. Pay most attention to using correct caps and spacing. Everything has to be exact. After this, if you type in ls again and hit Enter, you will see the file renamed. This is good. Now we need to install Nano, which is a text editor, but if you try to install it without updating app-get, you will get an error. So type in apt-get space update and press Enter. Let it do its thing, then when it's done, type in apt-get space install space nano and press Enter. Again, let it complete the installation, and when it's finished, type in nano space plex space transcoder and hit Enter. Once done, you should see a new text screen pop up. Here you're going to want to type in exactly what you see on the screen. To make this easier, I will include the text needed here in the description of the video, but you want to make sure it matches up exactly as you see it here. Once done, hit Ctrl-O on your keyboard. You should see it ask for a file name now, so in that box, type in space transcoder with a capital T. Make sure it looks like exactly how it is on the screen, hit Enter. When it asks for you to say yes, type in Y and hit Enter. And yes, I know if I would have used quotations before, I wouldn't have this issue, but either way, here we are. Once you save it, hit Ctrl-X on your keyboard to exit out of the Nano Text editor. Then from the command line, type in ls again and hit Enter, and you should now see the new file name called Plex Transcoder. You may notice it's a different color, and that's because we need to fix the permissions. To do that, type in chmod space plus x space quotations Plex Transcoder, that's with a capital P, capital T, close quotations, and hit Enter, exactly how you see it on the screen. Once that's done, type in ls and hit Enter again to verify that the new file name is the same color as the rest of the files. Now go into your Plex player and start a video file. Start transcoding it and check your dashboard. You're probably going to notice that it still says it is hardware encoding only, not decoding. This is according to Plex. But this is because Plex does not register NVDEC or hardware decoding on Linux. So what we have to do to make sure this is working completely is go back into your Plex Docker terminal and type in NVIDIA-SMI space DMON space -S space U and hit Enter, exactly as you see it on the screen. This should pop up some percentage utilization monitoring that will show you ENC for Encode, DEC for Decode, and what your GPU utilization percentage is. For my test, I'm showing 15 and 45% usage, and my CPU overall load staying fairly low. This means that my P2000 is doing all of the heavy lifting while my CPU is only crunching on the audio. To further test this, and you don't have to do this, I went back and renamed that new Plex Transcoder file to Plex Transcoder2. Then I renamed the Plex Transcoder2 file back to its original name, where it's just Plex Transcoder, which effectively undid all of the settings that I changed. Once I did that, I ran transcoding again and I monitored the GPU utilization. As you can see, when I edit this side by side, the one on the left is using much more CPU power to decode the media file, while the one on the right is offloading everything to the P2000 except for the audio, which means that enabling the NVDEC or the Nvidia hardware decoding was successful. Of course, I'm going to link everything in the description that I use to get this to work just for your reference. But if you do have any questions, comments, or issues, make sure to leave a comment down below. As always, thank you for watching, like, and subscribe, and have yourself a great day.